start with the Nets on the road at the Bulls. No James Harden, Kevin Durant. Second quarter tied at 35. Kyrie Irving picking up his dribble at the foul line and banks in the shot with his left. So Brooklyn leading by 2. Now later in the second, Nikola Vucevic finishing here inside against Joe Harris. Bulls up by 5 in the fourth. Zach LaVine, the dagger. Whew. He had 25 points. The Bulls go on to win this one 115-107.
So with the Nets losing, the Sixers had a chance to regain sole possession of first in the East. Joel Embiid coming back from that knee. Played Saturday. Doc Rivers didn't want to play him in back-to-back days, so he sat. And boy, did the Sixers struggle. Just 42 in the first half, down 10 at the break, and it would get worse in the third quarter. Grayson Allen for 3. Feed the man. He is feeling it. Ja Morant gets it too. Allen, another triple. He had 4 threes. Grizzlies go on to win 116-100.
We also had the Clippers and Lakers in the second quarter. The Clippers were leading by 14. Dennis Schroeder. The shot is blocked by Zubac. Rondo hits Marcus Morris with a pass. And he drains a 3. Good find from Rondo in transition. In the third, they were up by 20, the Clippers, and Rondo to Kawhi Leonard, who gets around the screen and splashes that. Kawhi would go for 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Clippers with a 104-86 win. Now, the Lakers will hit the road for their next 5 games, including on Saturday against the Nets. That game will be on ABC. Their next game at the Staples Center will be April 15th against the Celtics, and fans are expected to be in attendance for the first time this season. The Lakers will then host the Jazz twice in a row, with both games on ESPN.
It's a 4-point game. 4 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the national championship. A great look is good. It's a 1-point game. Jones spinning. Jones got the whistle and finished. 5.5 to go. McDonald 2 seconds. McDonald trapped. Heaves. Can't hit. That is it. The Stanford Cardinal national champions.
We're crossing the bottom of the hour. Time for your half-hour headlines. They say good things come to those who wait.
Is 29 years a long time to wait? I think so. Yeah. Good for Tara Vanderveer. Good for the Stanford Cardinal. They beat South Carolina by 1 point to reach the national championship game, then beat Arizona by 1 point to win the title last night. Vanderveer said it wasn't pretty. It was gritty. It was a rock fight. 54-53. Haley Jones led the Cardinal with 17. Vanderveer took a long time, but finally got title number 3. Here's Rebecca Lobo on the game.
For the first time since 1992, the Stanford Cardinal are your national champion. What grit they showed all season long. 87 days on the road, only 6 games played in their home arena. And what grit they showed in the Final Four for the second game, holding on to win in the last seconds. And this is a team that had great balance all season long. In the championship game, 3 players in double figures. It's been a long time for Tara Vanderveer and the Stanford Cardinal to get the next championship. They did it with a balanced attack. They did it with grit, something they had shown all season long.
How's this for delayed gratification? Tara Vanderveer won 2 natties in Palo Alto in the early 90s. Young coach, you figured a bunch more would follow. Nope, no more until last night. That 29-year gap between national titles, the longest in college hoops history, men's or women's. What a journey for that team. In December, Vanderveer passed Pat Summitt for winningest coach all time. They had the 9 weeks away from campus because of COVID, and now 2 one-point wins in the Final Four to get the title.
To baseball, on the Shohei Ohtani show, the Angels started making his mark right away, throwing a pitch 100.6 miles per hour in the first, the fastest by any starting pitcher this season. Then in the bottom of the inning, hit the longest and hardest homer of his career, a 115.2 miles per hour shot. The night did end in a scare, though, after he took a Jose Abreu cleat to his left ankle and left in the 5th inning of a 7-4 win. Afterward, he said he was fine. Now, Ohtani is ridiculous. He is only the first starting pitcher to hit second in the batting order in over 100 years, and it didn't take long for him to show us why. Ohtani became the only player over the last 10 seasons to hit a 450-foot home run and throw a 100-mile-per-hour pitch in the same game.
Today's scheduled Braves-Nationals game has already been postponed. More of the same for Washington, which has yet to open its 2021 season. 4 Nationals players have tested positive for COVID and are isolating. 7 more under quarantine because of contact tracing. The good news is no new cases. The Nats set to begin their season tomorrow against Atlanta.
The Texas Rangers will allow full capacity at Globe Life Field for their home opener today against the Blue Jays. They are the only team in baseball to have full capacity at their home stadium. The move comes a month after Texas Governor Greg Abbott ended the state's mask mandate and asked businesses to fully reopen. That's 40,300 fans, nearly twice as many as any other team will have in their stadium during opening week. As for the other team in Texas, the Astros, they will only be operating at 50% of Minute Maid Park's roughly 41,000 seat capacity for April.
It's getting bad for the Warriors. Golden State has now lost 7 of 8 after dropping yesterday's game against Atlanta. Steph had 37, but not enough. They had the humiliating 53-point loss to the Raptors Friday. They had the worst record in basketball last season. And that crew, a dynasty not so long ago, is sick and tired of all the losing.
Cannot play the way that we played the last, significant stretch and expect things to change. So kind of is what it is. We gotta make the necessary adjustments. It sucks right now. Losing sucks. It's a terrible feeling. In the locker room, we don't really have much to smile about. We're gonna find out, how we respond down the stretch of the season. See what we're made of.
Steph personally having a really nice season, 3rd in the league in scoring, but this was supposed to be their bounce-back year. Then they lost Clay, and right now sit 2.5 back of the Grizzlies for the last playoff spot in the West.
We still have time to turn it around, right?
We've got some time. You better get going, though. They're going the wrong way, Tony.
All right. Those are your half-hour headlines.
We're tied at 90. Here comes Suggs. Long 3 for the win. Banks it home. Banks it home. Jalen Suggs to send Gonzaga one step closer to history. And they're 1 win away from an undefeated national championship.
Miracle that we're here.
The basketball world still buzzing about the miraculous shot by Jalen Suggs to win one national semifinal. So Paul George took a swing at it. Yes, yeah, and he put it in off the window. Okay, nicely done, PG-13. You got to call bank, right? There's Suggs on the right and George on the left. They both go. Didn't jump up on the scorer's table, which we would hoped he might have done, but still, Paul George making the shot. LaFonso Ellis here to assess tonight's title game between Gonzaga and Baylor. So the Zags have been pretty much untouchable.
Yes.
27 straight wins by double digits, and then Saturday night the Bruins went toe-to-toe with them in that classic. What can Baylor learn from that UCLA team and go to school with tonight?
Yeah, you've got to be able to neutralize their transition game. I mean, this Gonzaga team is incredible because all 5 guys can grab it off the backboard and push it in transition. It puts immense pressure on your transition defense to get back and get matched up. Drew Timme at 6'10" can pull it off the glass and get back. So it's going to be really important that Baylor's on the offensive end, that they're efficient with their shots, knocking down their threes and getting in the mid-range game and knocking down those shots. But it's most important that they get second chance shots. This is a Baylor team that is 7th in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. They get 37% of their misses and they convert it into 15 points. And what does that do? On the inside, teams panic when you get offensive rebounds. They tend to foul. The more you can get the basketball going through the net, getting them taking it out of bounds, the better it is, because it takes away their transition game.
Okay, Baylor looks so good against Houston, and Gonzaga did kind of look beatable against UCLA.
Yeah.
Still, Baylor 4.5-point underdogs. What's the deciding factor, LaFonso, and who do you think wins?
Well, they have to get some production from their 4 and their 5. Remember, Mark Vital, as good as he is on the defensive end, he's more of a defensive player and an offensive rebounder. Flo Thamba, their center, same way, a drop guy. Drive to the basket, give it to him inside, he dunks the basketball. They've got to get production from those 2 positions. And I think Matt Myers, a big key coming off the bench for this Baylor team. The last game, he had 12 points off the bench. They've got to get production from those those two positions. Last time they played against Houston, those guys combined for 29 points. They have to be able to offset Drew Timmy's production on the interior. 22 points a night for him.
He does it every night.
He does it every single night. And that's why one of the best ways when you're playing against a great player to slow them down, you got to make them guard. So that's why they've got to get some production from those four guys.
I did not hear your pick there for the national title.
My pick is Baylor. They have the best backcourt in all of college basketball, the best three-point shooting team in all of college basketball, 11 made threes per game, and they're terrific on the defensive end.
He's going with the Bears.
Sick of Bears.
Okay, there we go. The two best teams in the game going out. That's all you could ask for. Looking forward to it. The national championship game tonight. Thank you, LaFonso.
My pleasure.
Coming up on SportsCenter, the quarterback who will be the guest host of Jeopardy!